Hey everyone, it's me, Paulo Sparks. Sorry for the background noise. It's it's my it's my sister's son's birthday. Well, my nephew's birthday. So yeah, they're having a birthday party upstairs, but it's pretty noisy upstairs. So yeah. So I'm sorry for the background noise. But anyway, let's get to the what if. This is gonna be part 4 of What If Deku Ate the Chakra Fruit from Naruto, part 4. So yeah, let's see, I didn't make a part 3, didn't I? Yes I did. I did make a part 3. And now there's a part 4. So yeah, Deku is in class, he now sees his friends Ida and Uraraka. Of course, Bakugo does not like. I mean, he does. He kind of looks away because he's actually a bit ashamed of himself that he was saved by someone instead of saving himself. He's kind of really frustrated at himself that he just relied on someone to save him without being able to save himself. Then Mr. Aizawa comes along and says, "Okay, everyone, just get in your seats, and we're gonna talk. I'm gonna tell you everything that's gonna be happening today. And if you want to know, we're not all going to orientation. UA does not follow the regular traditions of other schools. So yeah, you won't be going to orientations. The teachers here at UA can actually like do anything they want in their class. They can actually teach it any way they want, by training or by constant studyings. Something like that. And everyone now understands this. And right before Mr. Aizawa was about to say we're going to do a quirk assessment test, right before he was going to say that, Deku, um, his phone begins to beep, phone begins to ring, and Mr. Aizawa notices this, and Deku, he quickly answers his phone and wonders who it is. Oh, and he looks on the screen and it's the detective. And he then gets a serious look in his eyes. Everyone notices why does he have that look in his eyes. Because if you want to know, Deku when he was 7, when he turned 7, when he was only a little kid, he decided that he wanted to experience real combat against villains. So he kind of went to a detective. Things like this happened. Something like that really happened. His mom objected to this and just didn't want her baby boy to be endangering himself. But Deku says, "Mom, you don't have to worry about me. I'll be okay." And the detective says, "Don't worry, ma'am. I'll make sure your child doesn't do anything reckless." But Deku does do that. At most times, he's only been taking care of only low-level criminals and villains. You know, the pretty weak, they're actually really, really weak ones. He's actually taken down a few, and he's actually got a good experience. And then became the top villains. Deku also helped out in raids like police raids against illegal druggings or things like that. Yeah, so yeah, Deku has been involved in big things like that. And he's also, so yeah, Deku has now a lot of experience in actually fighting against low-level villains and actual real villains that are higher and stronger than the ones he was fighting before. Deku has had some cuts and bruises, but miraculously, everyone believes he has an amazing healing. His quirk must give him amazing regeneration properties inside of him. So yeah, Deku is like, so yeah, the only time he gets a phone call from the detective is either that the detective is telling him about a case, or it's something really serious, like another thing just happened, like a hostage situation, or you know, and the ringing lasts for 12 seconds, and Deku Deku knows that this is really serious, and he answers it, and he says, and the detective's name is Detective Hachi. Um, he, the police chief says, "Oh, Izuku, good, you answered. This is a really serious situation. It's bad. A bunch of villains came out. Bunch of low, bunch of criminals. They look kind of really. These criminals actually look very strong. They were on probation, but then they decided to like risk it, and just decided to cause mayhem." And Deku is saying, "What's the situation? What's the situation in the area?" And Deku, he's actually gets his backpack and starts leaving. He tells Mr. Aizawa that he'll be back soon. He'll be back soon because he has to deal with some garbage, trash. He needs to take out the trash. Mr. Aizawa knows about Deku's like past involvement with with the police department, and he says, "Sure." Says, "Fine, fine. We'll be waiting here then." Deku says, "Thank you. I'll be back soon." And he pretty much starts running out of UA and going to the area that needs him to be there. And Deku, he's now getting over there, and he's already there, and he sees people injured and being put in the ambulance, but then he also sees a lot of fire and destruction as well in one working street. Mr. Aizawa kind of put Mr. Aizawa decided to put a little like watching camera on Deku, and it came off of Deku's school uniform, and it just started flowing around. And back to UA, and Mr. Aizawa says, "Okay, everyone, we're gonna be watching something which not many people get to see. This will make you understand that the difference between experience and those with experience and those who do not have the expertise in fighting against villains." And Kirsch and Ida asks, "What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Mr. Aizawa?" "Well, you're about to see it for yourself. I tagged Midoriya with a little spy cam so we can see what's about to occur. It seems that it's already online. It's online now. So let's watch his actions here. You're about to see someone with true experience dealing with villains." And they are shocked to hear this. "Wait a minute, Deku, we're gonna see Midoriya actually fighting against villains? What do you mean? Isn't that illegal? Don't you need a license for that?" "Yes, but but Midoriya, he's a bit of a special case. Just watch and you'll see what I mean." And the spy cam is now broadcasting this to the class of class 1A, and they see this, and now they see this, and Deku is Deku did ask the situation about the villains. The police chief told him everything, and Deku went off to resolve the situation. And he's starting to fight. He's already starting to fight all the other villains. He took, and the class is like, what the hell? He took that one guy down he took one guy down with just ease. With just ease. Like he was nothing. Like he was dancing with him. Everyone is seeing this, and they're like, so this is the difference between experience and no experience. So this is why we need to see this. Everyone is watching the video that's being broadcast to their class. Deku does not know about this, and he's just taking down one villain after another. And he decides to employ his new trick. He during his 10 months of training, Deku then learned that he can actually make clones of himself. And he dubs them as shadow clones. This technique, shadow clones. And they go off and start taking care of the other villains. They are just like, whoa. He's like a pro. And you're surprised that Deku's not a pro hero right now. And Mr. Aizawa says, yes, this is what you'll become in the future. Being able to take down villains with ease. It'll be like child's play. Deku has experienced many things. Has experienced true fighting against other villains, including in tough situations where he almost got himself killed, but he managed to actually get out of it alive. And there are also other tricks that he's capable of, and Uraraka points out, like his healing ability. Yes, like his healing ability. His quirk is a very particular quirk that no one has ever seen before. It's capable of healing, and now that we've seen this, it's also capable of making clones of himself. And he can change the form of his eyes into different types of different eyes. Like the first one, the Byakugan. I won't be telling you its details and its information. That is top secret. That is top secret. I can't tell this to you guys. You'll have to find that out by yourself. And including the Sharingan, the Mangekyou Sharingan, and the Eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. Again, I cannot tell you the information on this quirk's abilities, including the Tetsugan and the Byakugan and the Renegon. And again, I cannot tell you the information on his quirk. I will tell you that it's Mystic Eyes and just transform his eyes, but each eye gives him a different type of sets of abilities. So yeah, yet again, I will not tell you anything about his quirk, not until you all become pro heroes, or somewhere close to that. and everyone's like watching Deku taking care of these villains, and there are about like 7 villains there, and Deku's like taking them down with such ease. And then the boss comes out and says, "Damn it! So you must be a pro hero. Too bad you're gonna die here. Wait a minute. You're just a kid. How are you taking down all my men with such ease, like they were nothing?" And Deku says, "Like I tell that to a villain. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. You're gonna die anyway. Think of this as punishment for getting in my way." And he fires off and he uses his quirk. The guy's quirk is electric blast. He can like shoot a charge of electricity at his enemy, and Deku is like, "Wow, what a weak attack." And Deku's like, "I can counter that," and and uh and he makes the mud wall. It's like the mud wall jutsu. He decides to call it mud wall, and it comes out and just protects him. And he's okay. And and everyone's like shocked that he's not even afraid of the villain. And Deku is now going up against the villain, and Deku says, maybe I should use that new eye of mine." So he activates the Renegon. And now he activates the Renegon, and now he's able to like he now repels the villain away from. He actually brings the villain to him, and then repels him into the ground. And the villain is like in pain, and Deku he can't use it again. The 5-second recoil. Deku has dealt with that, and now it's only down to only 2 seconds instead of 5 seconds. And he counts down 1, and the villain is about to jump out of the crater that Deku put him in, and Deku says 2, and then he repels the villain into the ground again, pushing him. And then Deku he dives down and uses his new technique, Boulder Fist. You know the Earth style Boulder Fist jutsu that we saw in Naruto Shippuden? About, the little guy who did it? The little Kage dude who did it? The one who could use particle style? Yeah, that guy. And then when he punches the villain feels a bit of pain, and then Deku says, "Weighted boulder." And then the gravity of the attack just became even tougher, and the pressure is so much that the villain just ends up passing out. And everyone's like, "Holy crap. He took down the boss villain like he was nothing to him. Holy shit." I'm sorry about that. Anyway, Deku is like, and the police officers are saying, "Thank you again, Midoriya. I'm so sorry that we called you out here, even though you're supposed to be in UA, doing your UA studies there. You're supposed to do your studies there." And Deku says, "No, it's okay. No, it's okay. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't become this strong. Again, I'm thinking you. I'm thinking you guys because if it wasn't for you, I probably would have been. I probably wouldn't have gone this strong. And the office and the chief says, "No, Midoriya, I believe you could. I believe you would have gone stronger even without coming to us." And Deku says, "Take." And Deku says, just laughs a little bit and the chief says, "Well, we have a few injured." And Deku says, "Take me to them." And he begins to heal them, and his clones come back, and they also began healing others as well. He also heals the villains to make sure he doesn't actually cause any problem, to make sure he didn't injure them that much. But he will make them go numb, but they are numbed. So yeah, but then a villain comes out and is about to use the chief as a hostage, but then Deku reacts to this and uses, instead of the Renegon, he uses the Tetsugon to repel the villain. This time he has one for all, and Deku has one for all. He super boosted Renegon's the Tetsugon's repulsion power to an unrivaled level, and the villain is then pushed into a building so hard that he just passes out. And this villain was actually hiding, and Deku says, "Well, that makes 9. That makes 9 of them. I should probably make sure there aren't any. Should probably make sure they're all down. Probably make sure there are none hiding." And Deku, he begins to make a field around the whole area, and he says, "It's clear. Doesn't look like there's any more of them out. There's no more. There's none of them that are lurking around." And Deku's already done healing the other people, the people that were injured, and he gives them a small. He gives them a lot. He gives them a bag of candy, so that way they can feel better when they eat it. When they eat their bag of candy, it's like those things that they use at parties. So yeah, Deku then says, "Oh, I better head back. Well, Chief, it looks like I'm gonna let you handle this. I gotta head back to UA." And the Chief says, "Sure, study hard, Midoriya. Go ahead, Midoriya. We got it here. Go ahead and start. Go ahead with your hero studies." Deku then runs off. Deku then flies away to UA. And then he's like, "Sorry." And then he gets to class 1A, and then he opens the door, say, "Sorry, I kind of ran a little late. Didn't mean to." And then Aizawa says, "Well, as long as you, it's okay, Midoriya. It's okay, Midoriya. Everyone here," and then everyone in class is like shocked, and it's still shocked that Deku managed to un, take out villains with such ease. And Deku, he's also been given a salary when he started it at 7 years old, when he was helping the police officers, when he started to help the police station. The chief decided to rely on Deku just in case if emergencies and things go wrong. So yeah, Deku has been given a salary on his hard work and achievements, and he's also been given a badge. He's also been given a little junior detective's badge, license to show everyone that, and this is actually gonna act as his hero. It's gonna be like a temporary thing until he gets his provisional hero license. So yeah, Deku is like that. So yeah, Deku has that license, and he can, and it's only temporary. It's only temporary until he gets his hero provisional license. So yeah, and so yeah, Deku. So yeah, Deku is also emailed with. Also, Deku is sometimes given emails about things that they're investigating on, and they will send the information to Deku to ask him for help, and Deku would reply, would just saying yes, I'll help out with your investigation. So yeah, Deku has been helping out in investigations, solving crimes that have been gone unnoticed for so long. So yeah, Deku has been helping out. And says Deku has also developed his taijutsu and decides that the police station should also learn his new martial arts that he's created. And they decide that maybe this would be a good idea. So yeah, the training is like super intense for the police officers, but once they go out into the field, they are able to take down the villains with such ease, and they're like, "Whoa!" This is what happens when we're done training. So this is the power of taijutsu, and yeah. So yeah, the police force have adapted to the system of the Wheel of Fire thing, and this will also affect other police stations as well. Like, they'll begin to adopt the system about the Wheel of Fire, and there'll be the Wheel of Lightning, Wheel of Stone, Wheel of the Wheel of Water, or something like that. The Wheel of the Wind, or Wheel of Lightning, something like that. There'll be other police stations in Japan, and actually that this will go across somewhere around the world. This will pretty much affect every police station, and pretty much it will affect the whole system for the police being being an efficient fighters against those to be able to help out heroes with dire situations. So yeah, the police officers are like not complete masters of taijutsu. Deku has explained about the 8 inner gates, that the human body has an unviable power inside of it called the 8 inner gates, and he explains if the if, if the body is not ready for all of them, then they might actually like faint or pass out or actually die from it. Some police officers were only able to only activate like two or one or two or three of the 8 inner gates, but they're not ready for the eighth gate because it means death, and they'll die if they try it. Deku he can use the 8 inner gates because he has done intense training, like real intense training, and this was during the 10 months of training. And so yeah. So yeah, Deku is like because of Deku, the whole the police system, and it training its police officers to in case of dire situations, things like that. So yeah, Deku would so yeah, pretty much the hero schools will also adopt the system of this thing called the Will of Fire, and other schools will make up their own Will of Lightning or something like that. something like that. And everyone in each school is actually wearing a different symbol that represents an element, represents a different element. And UA has that badge of fire that shows that the students have the will of fire inside of them that is ready to do this. Todoroki is like, I don't really want to wear this, but he has to because he has to. So yeah, he kind of doesn't want to wear it since fire any kind of fire kind of reminds him of his dad and things like that. But he'll have to get used to it. Pretty much will have to suck it up and just not whine about it. So yeah, that'll happen, and this is actually going to be the end of the video. I might actually make part 5. So yeah, prepare yourself for that, guys, and thank you.